Today's class will discuss about source qualifier, what I have used already in the first example.
Actually, there's a small doubt again in the same one. Actually,
Tell me.
So at the time of after creating the session, we'll try to go into the workflow design.
We are discussing about the source qualifier. So what is source qualifier? Already we have used this in the first example. So what is source
Yeah,
qualifier?
yeah. By the way, sorry for bothering you for a lot of time. And కొంచెం slow లా నా hand తొందరగా ఎక్కదు. It's a problem. Sorry.
It is a transformation object which provides metadata for
I cannot view your screen.
now.
No. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
It is a transformation object which provides metadata for reading the data from specified source. Source qualifier is a transformation object which provides metadata for reading the data from specified source object. Whether you want to read from the EMP table or a DEPT table or items table. Whether you want to read from employees text file or DEPT text file. From where you want to read, that information is provided by the source qualifier. What you want to read, from where you want to read. Okay?
Okay.
So what are the columns you want to read? From which table you want to read? Strictly speaking, you should not say table because you may
Object.
work with files also.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Now, for example, if your source is a database table, then how do you read the data from database table? What is the command you should write?
Select star.
Select. So if you observe the select statement, maybe you'll write like this: select EMPNO, comma, ename, comma, salary from SRC underscore EMP. So it is telling what are the columns you want to read and from where you want to read. That means this select is a command as per Oracle software, but in another way we can say it is a metadata because it is telling what you want to read, isn't it?
Yes.
So metadata is about nothing but data about data. It is explaining what is the data you should read. So this is nothing but a metadata, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So source qualifier, I am saying that it is providing a metadata. That means it is nothing but a select statement if your source is a database table. Okay. Source qualifier provides the select statement if source qualifier provides a select statement if source is a database table. Source qualifier provides a select statement if source is a database table. So with the help of that, it will read the data and give the data to the Informatica objects. Okay. Next thing, it transforms our source qualifier transforms the source object column data types to Informatica data types. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here if you observe the data types as per the source, employee number is a number, name is varchar2, salary is number, commission is number, department is number, isn't it?
Yes.
As per the Oracle database. So what are the data types here? You're having exactly the same thing they are showing in the Informatica also at the source level, isn't it?
Yes.
But when it comes to the Informatica, will not show like number varchar2. These number varchar2 is under source only, but when it comes to source qualifier, if you observe, it's showing me as a decimal, string, decimal, something like that. Maybe you may have double, you may have float, like various types of data types. These are the
Mm-hmm.
Informatica data types. Okay.
Yes.
It is transforming the source data type to Informatica data type.
Mm-hmm.
So, but main purpose is to read the data from specified source object with the help of metadata what it has generated.
Okay.
So, for every source object, definitely there will be a source qualifier. Without source
Mm-hmm.
qualifier, we cannot read the data from source object.
Mm-hmm.
By default, for every source, one source qualifier will come. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It may be any type of source. By default, for every source, one source qualifier object will be created. Now the source qualifier is providing set of properties depending on the requirement. Try to use it. Source qualifier is providing set of properties like first one, distinct. So in the database, what is distinct? Maybe you are familiar with the
Distinct means
distinct.
unique.
Yes,
I mean,
it provides distinct output records. That means if you are having any duplicate rows, the duplicate rows will be rejected.
yeah.
So it is providing one option called as a distinct. If you need, you can use it. Second one, source filter. What is the use of it? It is used to restrict. It is to restrict unwanted records. It is to restrict unwanted records by providing a condition. That means it is a I already mentioned that source qualifier is nothing but a select statement. So source filter means it is you are asking to filter the data. So how do you filter the data in select statement? By writing a where class. So source filter is nothing but where class of your select statement.
Mm-hmm.
User defined join. what is user-defined join? It is used to implement join between set of source objects. It may be two or more, not a problem. It is not like only two. We can join two objects or three objects or 10 objects also.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you join means with the help of common column. With the help of common port. But here you are not seeing column, you are seeing as an port.
Mm-hmm.
Because source qualifier is an Informatica object.
Yeah.
But here we are saying that we can implement a join, but there is a condition. What is that condition means? What are the sources you are taking up? They should belong to same database, then only it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Means it, I can say like it supports only homogeneous system. Same type of databases will be supported. Dissimilar databases you cannot use. Next, SQL query. It supports to display the generated select statement and supports to edit the generated select statement. So what is the select statement you got here? That statement can be edited. You can change it. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, pre-SQL. It supports to execute set of SQL statements before reading the data. Before reading the data. That means before your select statement, this pre-SQL will execute. Source qualifier means select statement. Before that select statement itself, the pre-SQL will execute.
Mm-hmm.
Next, the PostSQL. It supports to execute set of SQL statements after reading the data. So these are the 5 properties are there. Depending on the requirement, try to use them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying compulsory you have to use it. It is your wish. If you need, you can use these properties. But these properties you can use only if your source is a database table. If your source is a file, then you cannot use these properties. It is not possible.
Mm-hmm.
These properties can be used only if source is a database table. If it is a file, then it is not possible to use these properties. Okay.
So,
So it is about the source qualifier what we have used already in our first program. Clear about these things?
yeah.
Mainly we are creating mapping session and workflow, isn't it?
Yes.
So what are the syntax you have to follow for creating the mapping? What are the names to be given? What is the syntax for the name? So the syntax you should give in this way. As in the previous class, I gave the name as an M1, S1, WF1, isn't it?
Yes.
But strictly speaking, in work environment, you should not give the names in such a way, because after 5 days or after 10 days or after 1 month, you want to know what is there in M1, will not know until you open it, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
So that is reason usually in the project you follow this type of syntax. M underscore activity name means what is an activity you are doing there. Are you
Okay.
loading the customer data? Are you loading the products data? Are you loading the sales data? What you are trying to perform?
Okay.
Give that particular name. For example, something like this. M underscore sales. Okay. So this is the name you should give it when you are creating a mapping in this particular format. M is representing that it is a mapping object. For what activity means for sales activity we are doing this mapping. Once the mapping is completed, what is the next thing you are creating? A session object, isn't it?
Yes.
So what is the session name you should provide? It will be like S underscore activity name, like S underscore sales. Okay.
Yeah.
So by seeing this mapping, you should understand what is an activity you are trying to perform under that. Once the session
Similar for
is
workflow
completed,
also.
next thing you will go for workflow.
Yeah.
What is the name for this means? It is WF underscore activity name. That is, for example, WF underscore sales. Clear?
Yeah.
But whenever I'm giving an example here, I will not follow this type of syntax, because I will not give any examples on the activities. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving any example on sales activity, customer activity, or something like that. So
Got it.
what is my syntax means? I'm following my own syntax, something like this. As per my machine, I'm following this, something called as M underscore concept or transformation object name. So this is the syntax what I'll follow. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, if you feel that we are giving an example for source qualifier, for example, then I'll say m underscore esq means source qualifier. Okay. If you're working with an
Yeah.
expression, I'll say m underscore expression. If you're giving an example for aggregator, I'll say m underscore aggregator.
Okay.
If you're giving an example for the concepts, like for example, type 1, so I'll say m underscore type 1.
Mm-hmm.
So this type of syntax I'll follow.
Okay.
But if I give more than one example for the same object, I cannot use the same name again and again, isn't it?
Yes.
So what I'll do, I'll prefix my example number to this each and every object name. That means like ex01 underscore m underscore sq, something like that I'll write.
Mm-hmm.
Same way when it comes to the session, I'll say s underscore concept name, or example means s underscore source qualifier. Same when it comes to the workflow, I'll say wf underscore concept or object name, and example means wf underscore sq, something like this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the first example we did? The same example I'm repeating once again. Load the employee details from src underscore emp to tgt underscore emp. My source is src underscore emp. What is the structure of the table means? Maybe this is my structure of the table. And my target table is tgt underscore emp, and it is my target structure. So concept is a source qualifier. I'm creating a mapping with some set of objects. What are the objects I'm placing under my mapping means I'm having a source object. What is the source means src underscore emp, and I'll be getting a source qualifier automatically, and what is its name means sq underscore your source name. Source name is
Mm-hmm.
src underscore emp, so total name will become sq underscore src underscore emp.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm having a target called as an tgt underscore emp. So what are the mapping names I'm creating means I'm giving a mapping name something like m underscore esq. Same way I'm creating a session object. I'm creating a workflow. So it is s underscore sq, it is wf underscore sq.
Yeah.
But for my understanding purpose or to work maybe for some time more than one example on same object, I can't give the same name. That is the reason I'll say EX01. Maybe when it comes to second example, I'll say EX02, something like that. So these are the names what I'm giving in my system. Okay.
Okay.
So once again, I'm repeating all the steps. I'm trying to open the Power Center Designer.
Okay.
I'm connecting to the repository by double clicking on the repository. Provide the username and password. Then tools menu, source, and first of all connect to the folder. Class underscore pro is our folder, so connect to that. Right now it doesn't have any source, targets, nothing. It is an all folders are empty. So I'm going to the tools menu, source analyzer. Sources menu, import from database. Select the DSN related to source. Provide the username. As per my machine, it is SRS underscore user. Click on connect.
Should I write all the steps?
You already wrote it. So I'm selecting SRS underscore EMP table. Click on OK. So we got the source metadata. Just observe the steps because already you wrote them previously.
Yeah.
Then tools menu, target designer, because we need targets metadata. Targets menu, import from database. Select the DSN related to the target system. Provide the username. Click on connect. And select the table, for example, TGT underscore EMP. Click on OK. So source metadata is ready, target metadata is ready within the repository. So we want to create mapping. Tools menu, mapping designer. Mappings menu, create. Provide the mapping name. So my mapping name is M underscore ESQ. For my some other identification purposes, I'm prefixing the example number. So total name is became like EX01 underscore M underscore SQ. Click on OK. Drag the source object from the repository navigator to the mapping. So we'll get the source, along with that we'll be getting source qualifier automatically.
Yeah.
We got source and source qualifier, and later I'm dragging my target object. Link the source qualifier ports to the target object ports. Then save the mapping. After that, open the workflow manager. Maybe you can go to the start programs, Informatica, something like that. Or being in the Power Center Designer also, you can open the workflow manager. On the left side, there are some buttons are there, R, D, W, M on the top.
Yeah.
So W stands for Workflow Manager. You can click on that so that Workflow Manager will open. Or you can go to the Tools menu and you can say Workflow Manager. So it is your wish. You want to go with the Start menu. From there you want to open, you can open it. Or being in Power Center Designer also you can open it. So I'm trying to open from Power Center Designer itself so that the control will go directly to the folder. Means it will connect to the repository as well as to the folder automatically. So Workflow Manager is open, connected to the repository as well as connected to the folder. Then Tools menu, Task Developer. Tools menu, Task Developer, because you want to create a session. But is it a mandatory to create session here? Means no need. We can create even in the workflow also.
Okay.
After that, Tasks menu, create. Select the session, provide the session name. So my session name is ex01 underscore s underscore sq. Is my session object. Click on create. And I'm creating a session for the mapping called as ex01 underscore m underscore sq. Click on OK. Click on done. So session is ready. But once the session is ready, we have to provide the connections to the source qualifier and the target. So double click on the session object. Go to the mapping tab. Select the source qualifier on the left side. Come to the relational property on the right side. Click on the black colored arrow button and select the appropriate source connection. So for example, as per my machine, my connection is RC underscore source. I'm selecting that. Click on OK. Then I'm selecting the target table on the left side. Come to the relational property on the right side. Click on the black colored arrow button and select the connection object for the target. For example, it is RC underscore target. Click on OK. Change the target load type from bulk to normal. Click on OK. So session, you have provided the connections. Then go to the next option called as an Workflow Designer. You can click directly on button called as Workflow Designer, or maybe you can go to the Tools menu, Workflow Designer. Within the same Workflow Manager, we are switching to Workflow Designer.
Yeah.
After that, Workflows menu, create, provide the workflow name.
WF
ex01 underscore WF underscore SQ. So this is my workflow name.
Yes.
Okay. Drag the session object into the workflow designer. Tasks menu, link a task. Click on start. Drag it onto the session object, release it.
Repository, save.
Then repository menu, save it. And then execute it. So your source qualifier is preparing a select statement, and when you are link it to the target table, internally it will prepare an insert statement. My source table right now, it is consisting set of records. 15 rows are there. Right now my target table is empty. So in your system you are not removing the old record. There is a reason it's showing old records as well as new records. In my machine I'm clearing it to understand that only the new data came. But in work environment, definitely we will not truncate the data. You will not have the right to truncate the data. Okay?
Yeah.
So I came back to the workflow designer. I'll say workflows menu, start workflow. It will open the workflow monitor and show the status of your session and workflow.
క్లాస్ ఉందా?
క్లాస్ ఉంది పోవాలి.
Ping
ఆ
as
గెస్ట్ హౌస్
stated. Session, and if you say get session log, internally we can observe there are insert statements as well as select statements. Select statement if observed showing clearly for SQ underscore SRC underscore ENP. Okay.
Yeah.
And because of this select and insert statements, the data is written into the target table. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the first example. And next in the source qualifier, I need to talk about this properties. So distinct, source filter, user defined one, these type of things we need to take the examples.
Okay.
But those examples will make it in the next session.
Sure.
Okay, but make sure that you are comfortable with this first example. So you are for creating a source metadata, you are trying to open repository manager. It is not correct. You have to go to the Power Center designer.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can see tomorrow.